This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Tasmania's share of GST receipts will fall by $29 million, despite the national tax pool growing over the past financial year. The state government is confident budget surpluses will continue, but it's creating a smaller buffer as the GST formula is reviewed.
The promises were flowing thick and fast during the election campaign, accumulating to an almost $500 million spend. Now the dust is settling and the Commonwealth Grants Commission is carving up GST revenue, Tasmania's share shrinking by 0.1%.
The amount which it's being said Tasmania will get from the GST after today's review is $29 million less than had been assumed in the mid-year review.
A hit to Tasmania's bottom line, heavily reliant on GST receipts as 40% of the state's income. The Premier confident surpluses will remain.
Our budget position is strong here. Our economy is strong. It's why it's been so important to my government to keep things that way so that we can withstand any shocks.
Economist Saul Estlake is predicting a $10 million surplus for 2018-19, the big election spend softening the shock buffer,
including changes to the GST sharing formula that might result from the Productivity Commission's recommendations, or, for example, some other adverse development in the global economy.
They must know what they're planning to do. All we have is the form that they've presented before. And the form they presented before, we're losing teachers, losing valuable hospital staff and losing services.
Western Australia will likely be the big winner under any change to the GST formula. The question remains who will pay the difference, Tasmania potentially one of them.
The federal government needs to hold the 11 seats it has in Western Australia. It hasn't got any more seats to lose in Tasmania or the two territories. That makes it a challenging task for Tasmania to defend its share.
A decision the federal government will make once the report is delivered next month. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania is topping the country for prescription painkiller consumption, according to the latest drug monitoring results. Hobart is the highest using capital of oxycodone and fentanyl. Tasmania also leading the country on smoking and alcohol consumption. The national results reveal methamphetamine and cocaine use is increasing statewide. MDMA and heroin also increasing in regional areas but decreasing in Hobart. The state government says it's working towards harsher penalties for those caught drug trafficking.
We've also made a significant commitment, a $6 million commitment to open 30 new rehab beds for alcohol and drug addictions, so that we're also providing support.
The wastewater samples were collected over a 3-month period late last year. Almost 2 months after a house near Hobart was destroyed by fire, a 45-year-old man has been charged with arson. This Eldersley Road property went up in flames soon after midnight on the 10th of February. An estimated $200,000 damage was caused and the fire was deemed deliberate. The 45-year-old man will appear in Hobart Magistrates Court on April 23. After 35 years and hundreds of handwritten letters, a Tasmanian woman has finally met her American pen pal. While letter writing is a dying art, the two women are bucking the trend.
These are the letters Glenna Smith has sent her Tassie pen pal Leanne Towns over the last 3 decades. The duo have shared everything through writing, from teenage love to marriage and having children. But today was the first time they've ever met face to face.
It was surreal. It was amazing to meet someone that I've known so intimately for so long, but have never met.
The pen pals were connected through an old TV program called Big Blue Marble.
What could be more fun than getting to know other kids in other parts of the world?
We were both 11 years old. I know there are lots of stories where pen pals start off and then lose connection, but I've always felt a bond and a need to maintain that contact, and obviously Glenna has too.
They've only lost contact once for about a year. Now they usually contact each other every month. Glenna says she always wanted to travel down under.
And someday you may meet your pen pal in another country.
And now she finally has.
I want to see Tassie through Leanne's eyes. I want her to show me the things that she's seen, experienced, and talked about and written about for all of these years.
The duo also hope to inspire others to pick up a pen and start writing.
People have become so immediate in their communication, and that loses a lot of emotion and attachment to people.
And as for these pen pals, they're now bound by more than just paper ink.
LYLAS is love you like a sister. So yeah, she can't leave now. She's permanent.
Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
A 46-year-old man is recovering after a paragliding crash near Eaglehook Neck yesterday. The rescue helicopter was dispatched to Arthur's Peak just before 5 o'clock last night. The South Hobart man was treated at the scene due to the rough terrain before being taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital. Paragliding Tasmania says the man is an experienced pilot and suffered a fracture to his wrist. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed higher as fears of an escalating China-US trade war eased for now, and Australia's big four banks made gains. The ASX 200 index has risen by 27.4 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.94 US cents and 105.56 New Zealand cents.
After a disastrous Melbourne 400, Supercars rookie Richie Stanaway is looking to turn things around at Symmons Plains. The Tickford driver says he's expected to perform much better on the short course with the help of his experienced teammates.
Richie Stanaway promises an explosive start to Symmons Plains after running out of steam at Albert Park a fortnight ago. Electrical problems with his Ford Falcons saw the rookie bleed championship points, and Melbourne's long course diffused to any chance of a comeback.
Was a lot different to what we'll have this weekend in Tasmania. You know, it's a really long lap there with high tyre degradation, whereas here we have the opposite, so short lap, low degradation. So for someone that's learning and you get more laps to kind of build up to it without having the tyre drop away, I think that'll be a lot easier for us.
The 26-year-old Kiwi says he's measuring himself against the championship's 4 other rookies, and he's learning from teammates Chaz Mostert, Mark Winterbottom and Cam Waters. While Shane Van Gisbergen's season has started with a bang. He's in top spot overall after dominating round 1 in Adelaide. The best could still be to come once Van Gisbergen gets comfortable in the new German-built ZB Commodore.
The balance is a little different. It's good and bad in some ways, but it's going quite well so far. But we really just need a couple more rounds to understand it and fully unlock its potential.
Drivers had a bird's-eye view of the track this afternoon. A familiar sight for veteran Van Gisbergen, Stanaway hasn't raced at this track since his Formula Ford days in 2009.
The hard thing about our championship is, you know, if you can get 99.9% out of the car, it's not enough. You know, you need that last 0.1%, otherwise you'll be down the back. So finding that last little bit is always the hardest, so that's just what takes the time.
The 3-day Tasmania Super Sprint begins tomorrow. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Young Tasmanian cricketer Erin Fazakali's hopes of representing the country have been given a massive boost, with the 19-year-old Tasmanian Roar and Hurricanes all-rounder selected in the 2018 National Performance Squad. Fazakali is one of 13 players from around the country who will now get a chance to spend time at the National Cricket Centre in Queensland throughout the year with full access to its high-performance program. Had a few days partying with his NBL Championship winning side Melbourne United, Hobart Chargers signing Craig Moller says he's ready to go ahead of tip-off tomorrow night, with the tall forward aiming for nothing short of a Seabull Championship. Fresh from tasting NBL Championship success, Moller says it was the perfect prelude to the Seabull season.
To win the championship was unbelievable. I think it's really made me hungry to win another one, obviously in the NBL, but also while I'm down here in Hobart, I think I'm really excited to try and see where this group can go.
Moller is the last of the Chargers squad to arrive in Hobart, just under 24 hours until the side's opening round clash with Kilsyth. But the 6'7" forward is confident he can make an instant impact on the court.
The good thing about the NBL just finishing is that I haven't needed a pre-season or I haven't needed any time to get ready. I can just roll straight from one to the other.
Chargers fans are expected to pack the deck tomorrow night, with all eyes set to be on the side's big three for 2018. Moller, returning club MVP Mathai Muo, and American import Trey Nichols.
I think we've got a really strong lineup on paper, and I'm not shy about saying that we want to win a championship. I think it's important that we hold ourselves accountable, and that's what we're aiming for this season.
Meantime, the state's 4 strongest soccer clubs will do battle following today's Lacca Seljack Cup quarter-finals draw, with reigning Cup champions Olympia drawing former winners Devonport Strikers at Valley Road, and South Hobart set to play host to the Zebras, while the remaining 2 Championship League sides, Hobart United and Taroona, will have their work cut out for them, taking on Launceston City and Northern Rangers.
And who knows, it could be Hobart United and Taroona that may even go to the next round. So, and that is the magic of the Cup.
And netball returns this weekend, with the Arrows setting their sights on a 4th straight State League title, despite losing a string of key players in the off-season.
Jacko, our coach, has really pushed us to want the best for our team and our club, and that's what we're hoping to achieve.
The season begins with Cripps Waratah taking on Karana at the Hobart Netball Centre tomorrow night.
Jordan Roberts' days in the TSL appear to be numbered after the tribunal upheld his suspension for a dangerous tackle. It will see the star midfielder deregistered from all AFL-sanctioned competitions around the country for at least 12 months, with Lauderdale now set to launch an appeal. A spur-of-the-moment decision that could haunt Jordan Roberts for the rest of his life.
It just happens just like that, and everyone sits back and watches the video in slow-mo, and this could have happened or this could have happened, and until you're actually there and it just happens, it's hard to judge.
After appealing the MRP's offer of a 1-match suspension with early guilty plea, last night's tribunal hearing offered no reprieve, adding another week and bringing Roberts' total to 17, enough to see his football career over for at least 12 months, after which he can apply for re-registration into the competition.
There's a lot of other parts that play into it, Geordie's mental state as well and things like that, whether he wants to. It's taken a fair impact on him.
But Launceston coach Sam Lonergan, who suffered concussion after being on the receiving end of a similar tackle last year, says there's no place for it in the game.
You never want to see anyone not being able to play the game. We train hard to be able to play football, but probably the concerning thing is that it's a recurring tackle. The 2-week suspension, that's where it sits, I would have thought, with that sort of tackle and the intent that potential injury could have happened and occurred.
Lauderdale will now look to bounce back from that round 1 loss to Clarence, which also saw captain Bryce Walsh sidelined for around 10 weeks with a broken ankle when they take on Glenorchy this Saturday, who are keen to begin their 2018 campaign on the right note at home, with big guns Zach Webster and Jay Bowden right to go.
Our guys have got a point to prove after last year. Lauderdale are a team that don't take a backward step, so I think it's going to be on pretty early.
Good evening. Hobart reached 23 today and topped the podium in the temperature race. Launceston 21, Burnie 20 and Devonport 19 degrees. Still just a little warmth in the air, keeping the temperatures above average. The oncoming front pushed a little rain over the west. Grove and Friendly Beaches 22 degrees, Ouse 21, St Helens 20, Low Head 19 today, Smithton and the Islands 18, Lyweenie and Strawn a bit cooler under that cloud and 17 degrees. That cloud did creep in from the west and pushed over part of the state. Some smoke from a fire over the northeast also evident. Now here's the front over our region in more detail. A pool of cold air in its wake, some low-level convective cloud and thunderstorms over tropical areas, and Iris still there off central Queensland. Tomorrow that cyclone will tend to decay, to morph into a low pressure system. The cold front is now extending through the Tasman Sea, a high over the Bight and South Australia. The winds west to southwesterly at 10 to 20 knots, but more southerly over the east, swells to 3 metres in southern waters. For Friday, a possible shower in Hobart, 17 the top, 16 the high for Huonville, possible shower for Campania, 18 the maximum. Launceston partly cloudy and 20, 19 for Devonport and Georgetown with a similar forecast. Burnie a bit of cloud about but fine and 19, 16 the top for Strawn with a possible shower, bit of cloud over Wynyard, 18 the maximum. And for the east coast, a few showers for St Helens and Swansea in particular, 18 and 17, bit clearer over Port Arthur and 17 degrees. On Saturday, partly cloudy over most of the state. Fine conditions there. Will be fairly high chance of a shower over the west. Looks like rain for most of us on Sunday, extending statewide late morning. Fine but cloudy though for King Island. And on Monday, a possible shower or two mainly over the east. Strawn, a mostly sunny 20. And apart from the prospect of a storm for Darwin and some cloud over Brisbane and Melbourne, the rest of the nation tomorrow looking for sunny and warm weather. Little showery over Hobart at the moment, 16 degrees, 16 in Launceston and partly cloudy, 16 and clear in Devonport. I'll reiterate Tom Cooper's comments, Joe. Yeah, great to have you back and all that. Yeah, good.
Oh, overwhelming enthusiasm. Thank you very much, Murph. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.